I got married in 1995. So it's, let me see, 05, 15, and 6. Yeah, about 26 years. And I moved to the US. I live in Dallas, and I have two children. Um, my daughter is working now, she's finished college. And my son just finished his high school and he's going to join college in September. Um, I have friends and I spend time with them. Uh, as you know, in America, a lot of housework we have to do ourselves. So I keep very busy with the home, with the garden, and what else? Like any other normal family, we have ups and downs. We laugh together, we cry together. Um, and what else? Well, first thing, it makes me feel so ancient to think that 38 years back, was released. How time flies. I feel as if it was just yesterday that we were shooting for the film in Uti and Kudremukh and uh, Mumbai. And today we're looking at it like a retro fact, something that happened a long time ago. And Hero Part 2 has also been made, but I think there's nothing to beat the Hero Part 1. Uh, I have great memories from the movie. Um, Starting from the Muhurat itself. No, starting from being selected for the film. I was working in Manoj Kumar's Painter Babu, and Subhash Ghai was just finishing Vidhata, and he wanted to make this film with a new girl um, and a new boy. And he knew that Manojji had a good eye for casting, so he was keen on seeing my rushes from Painter Babu to decide if I would fit the part or not. When he saw the rushes, he saw me in the snow of Shimla wearing shorts and a knotted shirt, dancing away. And he said, "This girl is too modern and too glamorous. I want this simple home buddy, sweet girl who does classical dance and who is, it's a romance. So I don't know if this girl will suit that." But I think Manojji talked to him and he saw another song of mine in a sari and felt that, okay, maybe this girl has promise. And I was, of course, really excited to work with him because I had seen his earlier movies. And I remember going to the editing room where he was editing a song of Vidhata at that time. It was this song on Padmini Kolhapure called A A I I U U. And I was like, wow, this is so glamorous. I wonder if my role in Hero is going to be like this. The Muhurat we had in Mehboob Studio, Mumbai. And Jackie was in this very jeans and knotted shirt and looking very Western, like a model. And I was there in a salwar kameez and a big round bindi, looking very traditional and desi. And there were a lot of comments that, how will these two suit each other? What is this? Is this a good match? But Subhashi knew how to bring out the best in both of us. And he was a master of storytelling and showmanship. So Hero was full of these wonderful songs. Lakshmikant Pyarelal did an amazing job. And the flute, which Jackie plays in the movie, which became a legacy which was even carried on to Jackie's son's movie. It was so popular. And there are other good movies, good memories of Hero, but I can go on and on and on. I was christened Shashikala by my mother to match with my sister's name, who was called Nirmala. So Nirmala Shashikala. But in Indian families, especially in South Indian families, we have this tradition that the grandfathers, the aunts, the parents, they all give names to the child. So my grandfather, the year I was born, had gone to the Meenakshi temple in Madurai, Tamil Nadu. And they had this grand gold kumbha spire, which they had built on the temple, and they were having a big celebration. So he had said, if there's a girl born in our family next, we'll name her Meenakshi. Of course, my mom named me Shashikala. And at home, I was called Cherry. Nobody called me Shashikala. When Subhash met me, I was already Meenakshi, but when Manoj met me, I was Shashikala, who had just won a Miss India beauty contest. And he said there is this very popular and successful actress called Shashikala, who is still acting in movies. Maybe it's a good idea that you choose some other name for yourself. So I said, I have a name which my grandfather gave me, which is Meenakshi. Is that all right? He said, of course, it's a beautiful name of Devi. So we'll call you Meenakshi Seshadri. So it was my own name, which I used. And of course, when Subhash cast me, and then later on he worked with other actresses whose names started with M, people started making a news item of that. That is true. In the 80s, there were a lot of new people were introduced, and always the first movie was a romantic story. But those were few. The majority of movies which were made were action movies, multi-starrers, hero-oriented movies. And so unless you were very lucky or very successful, it was hard to get movies where the heroine was showcased in a very prominent way. And I did work with the best of producers, directors, actors, and other actresses. But that was not enough to really propel my career forward. It would have been a big achievement if I had been doing more heroine-oriented films. There were some films that I did which were noteworthy. They did not perform well at the box office, but they were a challenge to me as an actress. One was called Avara Baap with Rajesh Khanna, where I played a double role. And it was a unique experience for me. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And the other movie which I must mention is called Swati, where it was a kind of a feminist story where the heroine fights for the rights of women and their position in society as compared to men. I felt that it was a very important topic, but the era was so much concentrated on making movies jala ke rakh kar dunga, zinda gaad dunga, titles like that. Movies like this kind of did not go that noticed. And I love doing comedy. And that also, I didn't get much opportunities. There were some films which I enjoyed. There was Aag Se Khelenge. There was Ghar Ho To Aisa. um, where I and Shahenshah, where I managed to get these funny scenes, which I thoroughly enjoy. Most people, when they thought of Meenakshi, they thought of dramatic roles or glamorous roles, but I really enjoyed myself in comedy. When it came to the 90s, I did some of my more memorable movies. Um, I did Ghar Ho To Aisa, Ghayal, Ghatak, Damini, and I did two South Indian movies which were very unique and powerful. One was a Tamil movie called Duet, and one was a Telugu movie called Apat Bandhavudu, for which I actually got the Andhra Pradesh State Award for Best Actress. But in all these movies, the movie which really stood out, of course, is Damini. Damini is a title role, and from beginning to end, the character of Damini just wo chha gayi thi. The script, the story was totally, it was author backed role. And I was fortunate enough to have a unit which was full of talented people. The crew was fantastic. And leading them all was the director, Rajkumar Santoshi, who was an awesome, awesome director and talent. And I had already worked with him in Ghayal and was going to work in Ghatak later on. Damini talks about the conscience of a human being, which is the biggest court of justice, highest court of justice. And it really made people sit up and notice, because the character of Damini was so believable. She was a average middle class girl um, who believed strongly in Devi Ma, who believed in being very honest and candid, who believed in standing for the right thing to do. People identified a lot with that. And there were a lot of powerful scenes that I got to perform. Um, I was nominated for the Filmfare and National Awards, but did not win them. For a long time, a strong heroine oriented movie like this had not been made. There were fun films, there were good films other actresses had done, but this was a drama and a romance and full of passion and full of filmmaking from the past, from the 50s and 60s. It was like that again. But I think the producers and directors believed in the story. I don't think there was a fear of how the film would do, because whoever heard the story or whoever saw the rushes of the story were very impressed. And how well it would do, that we did not know. But it really went on to become a big hit. And people started identifying me with Damini. I think I've done at least 4 or 5 films with Rishi ji, which is quite a bit compared to my total films. For one, he's a fantastic actor. It was so effortless, so fluid, so spontaneous. Nothing seemed forced, and any role he could carry it off. Of course, he was known as the king of romance and the king of working with newcomers, and then he had these fantastic song numbers, which he got to do. And I particularly have favorites from Kars, Om Shanti Om and Bachna Hai Hasino. I I think that working with him in Damini compared to the other films I worked with him was more challenging because we had more dramatic scenes to do with each other, difficult scenes, and he supported me and like a wonderful co-actor should. And my performance would not have been what it was if it hadn't been for his contribution to the scenes that we did together. I used to try and meet Rishiji because I had great regard for him and Neetuji. I think that they were so sweet and nice to me also whenever I visited. There aren't many people I have been in touch with in Mumbai, I must be honest. But Rishiji was one of them that I stayed in contact with. I have definitely missed the creative work, the artistic work, working with other people who are also so talented. And creativity always is so exciting. You get to make new things and see new things come to life, and that definitely I have missed. I have kept up with my creativity by working on my dancing. I practice regularly, and in the past, I have also taught dance here in the United States of America. And am I making a comeback? Right now, I'm going to have an empty nest at home. My daughter has left home to do her work and her job. My son is going to go to college. So I don't have the responsibility of looking after them anymore. So it is definitely a good time for me to explore opportunities. And I have sent out the word that I am interested. And there have been offers over the last couple years. But what happened was we had the pandemic in between. And because of that, many of the plans did not work out. But hopefully things are getting better now. And I will have the honor of again being part of the Indian film industry. When I decided to start teaching dance, my school only taught classical Indian dance. And I have never taught anything else in my school. But when people come to me with a special request that, Meenakshi ji, I have a talent contest in school and I want to do a Bollywood number, or I have a special event and I want to do a dance. We don't want anybody else but you to choreograph it and teach it to us. So on rare occasions like that, I have taught them, more film or Bollywood based dance, but not regularly as a teacher. Today, this is how I look at myself. I have had a first phase in the 80s and 90s where I did all the Bollywood heroine parts. Today, I'm a mature, experienced person who is open to new things, experimentation, trying alternative avenues of filmmaking and film production, which includes web series and things like that. I'm quite open to everything, provided it suits me, my personality and my likes and dislikes. I can't claim to be a good singer, but I have learned classical music, both North Indian and South Indian classical music. And for many years, I practiced very hard and I used to sing very well. But I have to be honest, I have not done my riyaz and my practice for a long time now. So if I do want to sing, I'll have to restart that. Without exercise, you can't be close to perfection. I don't know about these other actresses because I don't know what's happening with their professional careers. And regarding me, I'm like a newcomer now. I'm starting after a long gap, after a sabbatical of so many years, I think 27 years, which is a long, long time. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of roles I will be offered and what I will accept. Whether they will be written with me in mind or scripted for me, I don't know.
Yes,
I think the filmmakers will want to know what I am like nowadays. What is my artistic expression? And before anybody decides to work around me and make a script. When I decided that I wanted to get married, I also felt that it would be hard for me to continue acting, especially when I met my husband who lived in America. And I thought a lot whether I could have work in India and a marriage in America, whether it would work out. And I decided that I could not do both. Um, I had to finish many of my movies after getting married, and I had a lot of offers, but I had to decline at that time. And I think many movie makers said, "Oh, she never wants to act again," and you know how news spreads. But that was not true. I was just taking a break,
mhm.
and it has been a long break, but I'm happy. I have no complaints. I wanted to be there for my family, my children, and now is the right time for me. um, of course, many of my friends and my family, they asked me, they said, will there be opportunity for you now in today's times? um, are there enough roles being written where you can do your work? And I said, I don't know the answer to that. But I have spoken to filmmakers, and they said that if you are really interested and if you want to work, there are numerous opportunities. So I'm ready. I'm raring to go. I'm so excited because I've missed all that creativity for years, and I can't wait to restart. Yeah, there was a rumor that I was no more. You're
Okay.
talking about that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I read that, and a lot of my fans were finding out whether it was
Yeah.
true or not.
Mm.
So I don't know how that rumor came about. I'm trying to think if there's any role that I've wanted to play which inspired me.
Mm.
Um, I've had people say they want to do a role like Damini.
Mm.
Yeah, so talking about doing or wanting to do a movie which another actress has done in the past, a role, um, Nargis ji in two of her movies. One was Raat or Din, where she played a role of a person who had a uh, mental illness, where she changed her personality, one person with two different personalities. I thought that was very interesting. And then the other movie which she made, which I think anybody would die for, is Mother India. Um, awesome, awesome movie. Um, of course, it'll be hard to meet her standards, but that's something I would really love to do. That is true. I worked in a Tamil movie, which was a remake of Mr. India. Of course, a lot of changes were made in the story and the script, and it wasn't exactly like the original. The title of Ice Maiden, which was given me, actually was given to me by a journalist.
Okay.
I was shooting for the movie Hero in Ooty. It was our first outdoor schedule. It was very cold. I had to do the song Nindya Se Jagi Bahar shooting, and had to sit under a cold waterfall for some of the shots. And I was sick. I had fever and a bad throat. So I requested Subhash ji to wait a couple days before we did that shooting. Meanwhile, the press had come to cover the whole shooting. And one of the press members saw me sitting on my mother's lap. I was feeling so sick that I wanted to have my mother with me. So they said she doesn't talk to anybody, she's an ice maiden. And I think later on the name also came to be used for me to describe how I did not have any link ups or any boyfriends or affairs. Or so the Ice Maiden title became there's a new explanation for that now. It is absolutely a true statement that heroines are underpaid in comparison to the male actors. And even the top actresses have had to face that disparity. Uh, you could have some actresses who are paid little more than other actresses because they're been seen more success or they're more popular. But that's about it. I hope it will not be status quo. I'm hoping that things become more equal, that the standard for salaries for male and female parts are the same. But any change takes time. So maybe we may not see it in the next many years, but I'm hoping that uh, the next to next generation will be able to see it. Whenever I have seen women directors making a movie, they have shown more empathy for the female actress and given roles which were more meaningful, more meaty, more signifying what is happening in the outside world. But I think a majority of our filmmakers are not, I would say not capable, but are not familiar enough with how to make a good woman oriented story. Maybe there aren't enough stories being written. The writers think that nobody will purchase stories from them which are about the heroine. The directors feel that they may not be able to make a good movie with a heroine backed role. So it's a vicious circle. And then you need to have actresses which inspire those movies, or you have to be able to cast very talented newcomers. So the few movies which have been made in the last 10 years, few, probably 5 movies maybe, have been because the actresses have inspired the filmmakers. I think that has the impetus has to come from there. The quality of actors will have to provoke and prod the film industry to wake up and recognize that they should make these movies, and that in real life women are becoming so powerful it should be reflected in the movie business also.